That's a lot of people out there. So, what is a blind man from America doing all the way out here to la Ciudad de ideas? I'm not a top scientist. I have not won a Nobel Prize. I am not a famous celebrity. I have not published my own library of books, and I haven't discovered the Force. I click. So what's the point? The point is that that click allows me, as a blind person, to see. I was born with retinoblastoma, which is cancer of the eyes. My eyes were removed by about the time I was a year old. Fortunately for me, no one told me that being without my eyes would cause me any problems. So the first thing I did after that last surgery is to climb out of my crib and wander around the intensive care nursery. To this day, nearly 50 years later, and nearly 40 countries later, I have not stopped wandering. My parents valued and respected my freedom to explore, to wander, to discover my own way without reliance on other people. They valued my freedom to discover how I would go about doing things. So they made no presumptions about my blindness, what I should and shouldn't be able to do, what I could and couldn't be able to do, except that they were practical people. They knew that blindness would present me with significant challenges. That seems reasonable. So should they raise me to be protected from those challenges, or should they raise me to face those challenges? Now, show of hands, how many of you out there believe that my parents raised me to be protected from those challenges? Okay, there aren't very many of you. You'll have to raise your hands louder. How many of you, now another show of hands, how many of you feel that they raised me to face those challenges? Yes. Oh, okay. All right, well done. In fact, they did not impose restrictions upon me. They did not raise me in fear. They did not raise me in doubt, because they knew that fear and doubt would erode my ability to face the challenges that they knew that I would likely face. So I was raised to enjoy the same freedoms and responsibilities as all other citizens. By about the age of 15 to 18 months, I began clicking, or so I'm told. And it became clear that I knew what was around me, that I could find my way around, that I knew where I was going, and that I was not afraid. It appeared that I was developing, learning a new way to see, though my eyes had been removed. And let me show you what that sense of sight was like. So if everyone would close your eyes, just close your eyes. I have here in my hand my conference badge. It's not very large, but it will be sufficient for this exercise. So with your eyes closed, just listen to a sound that I'm going to make. The sound doesn't change, it stays the same. But keep your eyes closed and listen to what happens when I move the conference badge towards me and away from me. Just keep your eyes closed and listen. Now, keep your eyes closed. Could you all hear that? Okay. Now, there will be a quiz. So, what I would like you to do, please, is keep your eyes closed. I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I would like you to say now when you hear the badge start to move. Well done. Open your eyes. I didn't have to bang myself in the face with this badge. Very good. So it moved from about here to about here. Okay? So a little over 1/3 of a meter. This is an object that's small enough to fit into my pocket, and you were all able to hear it. Recent brain scans of myself and some people I've worked with have shown that when you learn this technique, it is the visual brain that is processing the sound. So it's not just what we hear, it is what we see in our brain. That was a revolutionary finding to brain science. So, fast forwarding, using this way to see, I attended regular school. I walked to school almost every day from the 5th grade forward. I did regular things with regular kids. Yes, I got hurt sometimes. What child doesn't? I am quoted to have said that running into a pole is a drag, but never being allowed to run into a pole is a disaster. That is far more injurious to a person's mind and soul. I moved away from home when I was 18. I moved to university. 2 master's degrees later, two master's degrees later, I earned the credentials to begin working with other blind people. This was not something I was interested in doing. I had other goals, other plans for my life. However, there were no other blind people teaching blind people how to get around because blind people in those days were not allowed to do that. They could not obtain the credentials to do that. Sometimes the best way to encourage someone to do something is to tell them no. So I began working with people. After all, what can a blind person teach another blind person? I'll show you. We affectionately call this our shameless, over-the-top, whiz-bang video. Let's have a look.
You guys can see with your eyes, and we can see with our ears.
There you go. Now follow me. Follow my voice all the way down. Let it roll. There you go. Good job. All right. Pedal, come on, pedal now.
I think that the sky is the limit, and I think within the foreseeable future, we will be looking at the human perceptual system and blindness in particular very, very differently. We won't be asking the question, what can blind people not see? We will be asking the question, how much can blind people really see?
Okay, I got something very solid here.
Very solid here.
My name is Hector Elias. I am 17 years old. I am losing my vision. I am expected to go blind.
Speak up. Here it is.
Signori, dalla California, Juan Ruiz.
This obstacle course here that I'm gonna do today is not just poles. 3, 2, 1, go. It is a goal. And the bigger the goal, the more obstacles you'll face. And on the other side of that goal is victory.
Un Guinness World Record.
Stop.
E allora, è stato bellissimo vederlo qua. Vieni con me, andiamo al centro, my friend. Mia amica.
I do not know if I could have set that record myself. But I do know that I can teach someone to do so. Mr. Guinness World Record himself is here today in the flesh. Juan, why don't you stand up? You might as well come up here. Yep. And it's right over here. And then it's here.
Well, what a challenge.
Okay. All right. Come on up. So Juan is the point. And the thousands of blind people worldwide that we have worked with to find more freedom and more personal dignity in their lives are all the point. But there's a bigger, deeper point, even beyond the fact that we talk a lot about world hunger. We talk a lot about natural disasters, disease, famine. We talk a lot about a great many ills in the world, and all of these things are worthy endeavors to resolve. But what we often overlook is one of the most basic of human rights, one of the most basic of human needs, and that is freedom of movement. Freedom of exercising one's choices. Freedom of participation in one's community, freedom of life and livelihood equal to one's peers. This is something that is denied 40 million blind people in almost every region of the world. This is something that we at World Access for the Blind are working very hard to address using approaches that are quick, simple, and very effective. Now, beyond even that, the bigger and deeper point lies in something that Juan said after he set his world record. Let's have a look at what Juan had to say. So, it isn't about what Juan did or what I did. It's about what we all can do. So, blind people, having learned to see, are now in a position to teach everyone how to see better. Because the eyes are not the thing that allows us to see. The eyes are windows that allow light into the brain. It is the brain that sees. It is the mind that sees. And some would say it is the heart that sees. And to us, to all of us at World Access for the Blind, that is the point. I hope that is meaningful. I hope that is meaningful to you all. Thank you all for your attention. We'll head off. You can head off with me. Okay.